I made a video the other day talking about the potential for the PS6 to actually be canceled. Will it be canceled? Probably not. They're going to roll it out and they're going to make their money, but it's not looking great with the decisions that Sony is making when it comes to digital media versus physical media. Now these PS5 emulators, which we're going to talk about, and the Sony lawsuits, PlayStation may actually be in real hot water. So let me recap you guys before we get into the latest news about PS5 emulators. There has been a mass exodus from PlayStation. There's reports of PSN rapidly losing subscribers as people are leaving the platform in protest. We've got insider reports claiming Sony is fully aware of the backlash, but they're simply betting on the outrage to die out and people accepting their new business model. Their new business model includes no physical media moving forward in the near future. They think the extra money they're going to make from digital game sales versus having to make actual discs will make up for the lost subscribers and the exodus of players. However, insider reports are suggesting that they're grossly underestimating just how many people have already left the PlayStation ecosystem and switched over to PC. In the last video, you guys commented. A lot of you said you're out. There were some of you that said you'll stick with it till the end, but there was a lot of you that said, no, I'm going to go to greener pastures. I read every single comment on every single video. Many gamers feel that if they're going to be forced into an all-digital future, they might as well be a digital gamer on a platform with cheaper games, more games, honestly, and actual digital game ownership, which is the PC. You actually own your games, even if the hardware costs more than a console or the barrier to entry. Sony, they've been caught several times deleting comments and banning users from their partnered Twitch streams. On YouTube, every video they upload gets dislike bombed and spammed with comments demanding physical media to come back. On X, literally everything they post gets ratioed with angry comments. And many other posts, they're getting hit with community notes as gamers add context that Sony is ignoring criticism and attempting to create a game monopoly on the PlayStation by destroying physical media and killing third-party retailers. Now you're caught up. Also, a lot of PlayStation-centric websites like Reddit, every threads and everything, the actual PlayStation fans are not happy, which is scary. So let me get you guys into the update. All of that. Let's pile on another layer. Sony is getting sued left and right. I mean, if it wasn't bad enough, they really are, for anti-consumer practices and breaches of their consumer trust. There's a lawsuit in the Netherlands currently active over their anti-consumer practices, seeking over $450 million in damages. You might say, well, that's okay. Sony's got all the money in the world. No, $450 million is almost $500 million. That's going to hurt any company, besides maybe Elon and SpaceX. There's another active lawsuit in the United Kingdom seeking over $2.6 billion in damages in response to the damage that Sony is enacting on third-party sellers. There's lawmakers in Mexico that are gearing up to file an antitrust lawsuit, and that should be formally announced in the coming days, assuming it hasn't been announced by the time you're watching this video. That's just one layer. Now let's go into the emulators. This is wild to me. So in addition to the bad PR and the lawsuits, Sony may have actually, metaphorically, physically, dug their own grave by trying to force gamers to accept something they don't want, because over the last few days, several gamers have actually been reverse engineering the PS5 to get a working PS5 emulator up and running on the PC. You heard me right. I mean, so far games aren't playable, but the PC5 or the PS5 exclusives like Demon's Souls and Astrobot, they are successfully booting up on a new experimental emulator. It's just a matter of time. It's a matter of getting the gameplay stable enough to play. But if you know anything about emulators, you know that reaching boot status is just the first step. Once you get the game to boot, progress is going to snowball very quickly. There's some really smart people out there. Mark my words, there will be a functional PS5 emulator within the next 6 months. And at that point, that's bad. If you're trying to stop people from going to PC, what tools do you have to stop them if you can't even protect your own exclusive games? And before you say, Jimmy, Sony can just sue the emulator developers. That's not technically true, I don't think. I'm not a lawyer, but emulation is protected under fair use. I know that, as long as you don't steal the game. So how you secure the game files, that's a total different matter and story. But emulators themselves are completely legal and 100% protected. And ironically, Sony has unsuccessfully tried to sue PlayStation emulators before, and they were shot down in court. So they know firsthand that they probably can't do anything about a PS5 emulator. And these new PS5 emulators wouldn't exist if Sony showed a little respect towards the player base. I really feel that way. I mean, do you think it's a coincidence that there were no PS5 emulators until after Sony announced the death of physical media and after Sony started disrespecting the player base? The PS5 emulators, I mean, they're a retaliation against Sony for their actions, and once development reaches a playable state, I think Sony's going to have a huge problem. I do. Because also, if you emulate a PS5 game, guess what? You own it. Yeah. Nobody's taking those files off your computer. Sony's not going to break into your house and take them. If you buy a PS5 game digitally through Sony, they could take it away from you at any point for any reason, which is wild, which is a whole nother topic for another video, but we're not going to go down that rabbit hole right now. But that's ironic. Some random gamers developing an emulator are giving you true digital ownership of PS5 games, but the creator of the PS5 games, the owner, well, the ones that create, not the, well, they are the owner, Sony, they refuse that. And then Sony's charging you more money for their version. Come on, seriously, that doesn't add up. I truly feel Sony is partially cooked once this emulator reaches full bore. I do, once it's finished. The only thing holding people on the PlayStation, to me, at this point, is the exclusive games. But I think Sony pissed off gamers so much that they made a PS5 emulator in retaliation. I honestly don't know at this point if the PlayStation brand is going to be salvageable. Because to this day, Sony seems completely unwilling to acknowledge the problem. They genuinely think that everything will be fine if they just keep ignoring it, and that is making it worse. I don't think the outrage is going away. The longer they ignore it, the worse it gets. And the longer they allow things to get worse, the more motivated people will be to find alternatives to buying their consoles. And you may say, well, they're going to keep their PlayStations to get new God of War titles and Last of Us titles and things like that. You are absolutely right. But if they put the PlayStation down or they set it aside or put it in the closet in a box, because these titles come out every 3 to 5 years and they're playing on the PC or the Xbox or heck, the DS or their mobile phones all the other time, that crushes Sony. And then you may ask, well, what about Xbox? How is Xbox taking advantage of this? I've got a video coming up soon, the good and the bad of Xbox, because on one hand, they see the opportunity. They see what's happening to their biggest competitor, and they are making some moves to capitalize on that. But on the other hand, Xbox has their own problems. They have a lot of problems, which we're going to talk about in a video that's going to go up in a day or two. So here's my question. If you can get your hands on a PS5 emulator, how much would you pay for it? What would it be worth to you? Do you think it could have a huge impact on the PS5 moving forward and the PS6? Or do you think it's just a little drop in a huge, huge bucket or a huge, huge pond or ocean or whatever? I personally think it's one of many dominoes that is really, really putting... if I was a shareholder, if I owned stock in Sony right now, I'd be worried. For all the reasons we've talked about, not just for one reason, not just emulators, not just the PS6 could be in trouble, not the anti-consumer lawsuits, not them not listening to the community or saying they own your game even though you paid for your game. Everything put together, it's pretty scary. Let me know what you guys think. I'll see you soon.